Dear friends, today I'm glad to start our webinar dedicated to startups in the global crisis. A few words about organizers and speaker of today's event. The organizer is the project office of the National Aviation University, Kiev, Ukraine. The speaker is, I would say, without any restrictions, that a prominent figure in global innovation system. He is a founder of many startups and accelerators. His name is Tal Catran. In the past, we met with Tal several times. Tal visited our university, and his last visit was in October 2018 as a keynote speaker at our conference dedicated to UAVs, UAV Hub. Generally speaking, Tal is a kind of specialist for non-standard breakthrough solutions. So now when the mankind has been covered by the huge surge of coronavirus pandemic, it is the very time to remind such persons as Tal is. Let me remind a slogan, well-known slogan, never give up, or if you were swallowed, you've got at least two ways out. Tal is the very person to point out and highlight these way outs for many of us. Thus, let me give floor to Tal. Tal, please.
Thank you very much, Oleg. I'm very happy and delighted to be here and join you. As you mentioned correctly, we've been partners for some times, and I did visit NAU several times on different occasions. I would like also to thank Katerina for her help to promote and to realize this event. I would like to share with you some of my experience, especially since for the last month I decided to change my schedule in a way. It's now that we are grounded, everyone is grounded. I need to start flying again, but this time I do it through webinars and Zoom. And I'm again very happy to join my friends in Kiev, in Ukraine. So to begin with, we are still in Corona. Well, this time it's a bit different. I mean, this crisis in many ways and figures is different. And it's different because it was so much unexpected. We knew how to handle financial disasters or crises. We know how to deal with other crises in most cases. This time we were caught by surprise. The term used by the economists would be a black swan. Black swan is a term that is used to describe a radical situation, a crisis like we are facing now, that we had no clue. We had no signs it will happen. Yes, maybe a few Hollywood movies, but that was not enough to push us. As much as Corona is not a good thing, I mean, people suffer, sick, die. We also see the financial, the economic crisis that many businesses have to endure. And yes, we all know that behind the businesses and behind startups, there are people. So people are suffering. This is not a good thing, but it also presents an opportunity. So instead of, dwelling and saying how bad everything is, we should, as human, as people, look for the light, look for the opportunity. So yes, as much as things have changed, they have, for no doubt, shown us that some people call it an equalizer. Some people say we, as humanity, we rebooted. So we shut down and we restarted in a way. And the best way to feel it and to understand it is that it's not really important what is your financial status to begin with when we entered Corona. It doesn't matter if you can have your own private jet or you cannot fly a plane, because no one no one was flying. I mean, it was forbidden to fly, and still is in many countries. It doesn't matter if you can drive a Ferrari or a Lada. Who cares? In the end, no one can drive. I mean, we were all quarantined. The fact that you can allow yourself to buy things was, again, not relevant, because you do not have how maybe you can buy but not get it to your home. So in many aspects, this corona made us realize that maybe not everything is really in our grasp. And it wasn't, to tell how smart you are, and because of this you will be successful. And because of this, things now will definitely look different. Most countries are now slowly returning back to normal, as we call now the new normal, the day after, with a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty, how this day after would look like. We see things have changed. For instance, we're not meeting anymore. We're here on Zoom. We don't meet. And will this last forever? Probably not. We as people, we are, as we say, a social animal. We will definitely go quickly to meeting face to face, probably handshaking and hugging. It will be done with a bit of fear, but these habits need longer time to change. And since we are under Corona, let's say for 3 months, not really much on this sense will change. But we did realize that digital makes life easier. So in many aspects, the digital world has gone light years forward on the change, on the quantity of users, on the fact that now Zoom is a second name for a webinar, and I would say everyone uses it. We see that remote distancing made us come up with new solutions, and this was one of the major solutions that we are going through. We see a lot of robots now evolving. The fact that we still need to keep social distancing means that in the middle needs to be something, and currently, as you see, more and more robots are coming into the picture. I would say that since we're still in Corona, and many countries are, my recommendation would be, of course, listen to your authorities, government, health ministry, municipality. You need to listen to them. I think part of the success of keeping, we say, Corona at bay is the fact that we kept at home. We were under lockdown. The entire world was under lockdown, suffering, not easy, depressing. But I think this is a major factor for the fact that we are in the state that we are right now. But it also showed us that many of the health systems throughout the world are not in good condition. Technologically, manpower, qualification, that will definitely change in the coming, I would say, month and years, because it needs to change. There will be much more focus and budget. It's because now we know that since we endured Corona for the first time, aside from the potential of second or third waves, Corona might return. And I think that now governments understand the responsibility to put the right budgets also on health, which again gives or opens many new opportunities for people like you guys, the ones with the startups, to come up now with relevant solutions. As we say, we keep distance, and when we keep distance, see there's no flights, see there's no living home, but we need to keep life going. So we saw that even if, as we saw that the health system has some problems, well, the education system has its own challenges as well. So remote education, as much as we speak about it, we speak about courseware, we speak about e-learning. Well, we speak it and we use it, but Corona made us use it much more. and this is definitely gonna go on, meaning we will see more and more technologies, more and more ideas, development about remote education, as well as the training of the educational staff, schools, kindergarten schools, high schools, colleges, universities. It will be enhanced, no doubt, and as well as technology. We see that now we can work from everywhere. I mean, regardless where we are, we will continue working from remote. I don't know if you feel it, but many of the people I speak to all over the world mention that in effect, during Corona, they work much harder. They actually sit at home, but they work hours on end, a lot, a lot, a lot. Why? Well, all of a sudden we understand that since we don't have to take the car in the morning, I mean, get dressed, get into the car, find parking, take the elevator, make coffee. When this is out, there's a lot of time now used to work. Also, the way that we work. So now we don't count hours because we're at home. There is no card to go to register. So we just work from home. What we do measure now is not how many hours we work, but what is the output? I mean, what do we do? And this has also some I would say challenges and barriers. So I don't know how many of you now joining us from home are really dressed under here. And by the way, we all have feet. So the next time you see a person you only saw him on Zoom, he has the second part of the body. It comes as a one piece. But we get accustomed to just to see the face. Just think for the fact that all of a sudden you are actually in my home. You're now in my living room. I used to be a private person, not anymore. And in the middle, you will hear my kids. You can hear the dog. Things happen because we're at home. So this also now changes a bit and you feel it. So you feel it that the formal meetings become a little bit informal right now. We don't do much sport. Well, at least now we have an excuse. Hey, we can go out. Well, it's not a good excuse and it's not good to be fat. Keep your training. We will talk about it maybe a little after. And for sure, unemployment. So we see the unemployment line grows longer and longer. More people get unemployed. Think that in Israel, a population of 9 million, fourth, 20, like quarter of Ukraine, we have 1 million people unemployed. They were not actually fired, but they were giving leave, vacation to go home and not to come to office. But still, this is unemployment, and someone needs to deal with this. And that creates a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear. What will happen after? Well, we do realize there will be a big problem. We do realize that about 20% of the people sent home will not return to their office. And the ones who will return to office probably will have to reduce their salary by about, I would guess, 15 to 20% easy if you want to come back to work. Well, this has implications, and the implications are clear. If we earn less money, we have less money to spend. So things we used to buy until now, maybe some of them we buy less. Some of them we don't buy anymore. We can't travel. So you see the travel tech industry plummeting. So it's a kind of a domino effect. You don't need to think only about yourself. So I'm unemployed, or I work remotely, or I'm stuck at home, or God knows what. You need also to think about the domino effect. You need to understand that there is a long line of people, of businesses, they will be in fact affected, not even today, maybe tomorrow and the next day, and it will last. It will not pass within a week or a month. We are getting now into a long era of different kind of thinking, different kind of economy. People will remain the same. People will remain the same. Our surrounding will change. Some figures, just up to date, because I give this lecture very often, about a week between lectures. So I can tell you that on the numbers of, let's say, people who died, sick people that were tested to be positive for corona, we are nearing the 5 million. We are nearing the 5 million, and this is an increase from my last lecture last week by 1 million. By 1 million. It's a big number, okay? It's 30% up. We see dead. Well, dead up until now, according to today, we have 320,000 worldwide people who died from corona, which is an increase of 50,000 within 1 week. We see the ones in the crucial status, like very, very sick. There are about 45,000, but it's still decreasing, meaning it's 4,000 less. Okay, so we are getting better. And actually, on getting better, people who are now free, okay, healthy after corona, we are nearing just about the 2 million people, which is 600,000 from last week. So we see the numbers are changing. By the way, there is a big discussion if this virus will pass due to summer, to hot temperature, where Israel since Sunday is facing 40 degrees plus and up. Maybe we will be healed tomorrow morning. Just speaking about the total number, so as you know, 245 countries in the world, 213 already infected, almost the entire world. So we understand what it means to be a global village. We understand that closing Europe is impossible. It's like closing, I don't know, America between the states. Same with India. So it cannot be done, really. And maybe it could have been done if everyone was, all the countries on the same page, deciding to shut down borders. This didn't happen. On the scale of countries, Ukraine, according to this morning, is number 32 with 18,000 infected, 535 dead. Israel is 16,000 and a bit with 276. And there is a question that people ask about Israel and maybe other countries is the relative low number of dead. But Israel population is quite young, and we see that corona really hit elderly population. So this is one reason. And I would say also the quality of health system, but I think Ukraine is, as we know, from 37 million is in a good status, and we hope it will be better quickly, meaning the curve will go down, flatten, and we will be, this nightmare will be behind us. Good news is that now we see on TV is that there is probably coming now with a vaccine. Israel is one of the leading countries on finding this antibody, and that will affect the corona once we have it. We are nearing the stage, but meaning stage of trials. But we know that probably there will not be a vaccine this year, but maybe more next year. But we will have a vaccine in the end. I heard yesterday also in America, a lab there came with very good results. And just to say that we know that corona will be behind us, scientists say that if we go 2 rounds, meaning, you know, corona, you need 14 days between rounds. So twice 14 days, 28 days without infected people, and we are good. Actually, we had 1 day. The day before we had 0, but yesterday already we had 22. So it's also in regards to the test, but things look under control. I think same is with Ukraine. So we all know that currently the status is that we sit at home, we learn from home, we work from home. Israel has opened the country. We are now going to work beginning. Malls are open, schools are back to normal, in a new normal of sitting with masks, of using alcohol gel and all this, but it is returning. And the force making it, of course, is the economy. People cannot bear anymore this situation, and they need to go out. So this is happening. But again, slowly, it will happen. We see again communication between people. Well, we used to shake hands. Now we can't meet, so we meet through Zoom. All of a sudden, we don't speak much on the phone. We need all the time to see people. This webinar put us in a situation where now when you say to someone, you know what, let's talk. The second question will be, should I send you a Zoom? Will we go on WhatsApp? For some reason now we need to see people. It's like we feel so secluded, meaning under lockdown, we see only the family, that we really want to make sure that there is a world out there and we need to see the people. It's a new way of communication. It was always here, but not in this magnitude. Now we use it, of course, all the time. We see the problem, I mean, that we don't see the family. Well, now in Israel, since last week, we can now see the close family, parents meaning, and again, slowly it will happen. I'm sure that this is the situation now, little by little throughout the world. But I also see is that people now they still think Corona, where they need to do a mindset change and start to think about, okay, it will pass within 2-3 weeks and we need to get ready for what will be the day after. Businesses, well, consumption of fuel in the US has gone 50% down. Manufacturing of barrels, crude oil, 20 million down. Planes don't fly. And when they will fly, God knows if we will have low-cost flights. It's because now they can fill only half of the plane if they fly. And for low cost, to give us good prices, they need a full plane and lots of flights. This will take time. But then there is an effect, as we say, of the domino effect. So the flights are not going, then the hotels are shut, then the restaurants don't get people. And by the way, now restaurants will open, but who will go to a restaurant? Maybe afraid to get infected, maybe don't have the money right now to spend on, because it's luxury maybe for some people, maybe for many people, this is a situation. So it's not like there is a magic and tomorrow morning it will change, unless maybe someone will, I don't know, World Health Organization will go on TV and say, guys, Corona was only on TV, everything is well, go back to business, and we will go back to business. But I don't see that happening. Speaking about startups, well, if you think about it, startups live in survival mode all the time. They live in uncertainty. They're not sure what will be tomorrow. Okay, there's a foggy situation around them. Everything is risky. Well, Corona is like that exactly. For startups, it's like startups invite the rest of the population of the world, say to them, hey, welcome to our lives. This is what we feel every day, okay? So maybe for the startups, nothing much changed. They are very trained on working remote from co-working or home or garage or God knows where. So for them, it's not a big deal. They communicate digitally very, very well. Problem is that startups need people. They need users to use their technology. They need investors. They need money. Not just investors, not financial in general, okay? And this really changed during this time, meaning finding money currently or investors is much more difficult. Although there are investors saying that maybe it's a good time to find good deals, as we say, but probably they're keeping money now to themselves more. VCs, well, if the VC closed the round just before Corona, they have the money to invest, but most VCs, what they have is what they raised before. So they will do much more maintenance, we say. They will make sure that the portfolio keeps on going. They will probably not do new investments. So again, big problem on the money part. Sales are very difficult. It's because right now, most companies are making what they can to decrease, to lower expenses. They don't want to spend more. They want to spend less because they don't know what's going to happen. So for them to invest or to pay for new services, well, it's much, much harder. Also, state of mind of people. It's like, now is crisis, don't talk to me something new. Or maybe the IT department is more busy now taking care of helping or making the workers work from home, which is a nightmare. Think, when you connect from home, if you work for a company, you will use a VPN, but VPN has a limitation on bandwidth, meaning VPN was developed, okay, to assist maybe 10 or 20% of workers working from home, not 100%, which creates big problems. Also security. Security measures on the computer done remote is very difficult. So again, when there is difficulty, there is opportunity. So you will see many cyber startups pivoting. They see the problem, they see it happening, and they say, you know what, let's deal with this. So we used to do until now this way. Maybe we can take this much of the technology and pivot and do with it something else. So, and this will be part of my recommendation in about 5 minutes, it will be to change state of mind. Get a new disk in, take the old one, put a new one. You are startups, you need to be very agile. You need to pivot very quickly. You see the situation, you need to respond to the situation. Okay, right now sitting and saying, no, I go this way, I think you'll get your life will be much harder and your success probably smaller. So speak about the day after. I mean, which is almost here. So what we see currently in technology clusters going down, and I mentioned some of it, is of course the travel tech, less flying, meaning less traveling, less traveling agencies, less with the hotels, less with the restaurants, less with the catering, a lot of less. This industry currently predicts a loss $250 billion. This is the current effect the travel tech industry predicts it will suffer. It's a huge number. Think about how many people will be unemployed just in this industry. We thought that until today, when we took a plane, okay, we just had to go through security. Well, now add to security Corona. We will have to be tested, meaning we will need to come to the airport maybe 4 hours before the flight. We will have insurance for Corona. Now, when you buy a ticket and you're not sure in the country where you will land, if you will be allowed to enter, you need to have insurance because then you will need your money back. It's a whole, InsurTech is now dealing with a whole of a new opportunity and as well as need and challenge how to deal with that. How flights will look, how many checks we will have to go through. We will meet a person that will check us, or we will see robots. How would that happen? Well, this is already changing. This is already happening. Ryanair, which is I think quite renowned airline, says that from 2,500 flights a day, it flies 20 currently. And it can hold just for several months before they go bankrupt. Chapter 11, close shop. Again, understand the effect that Corona currently has on all of us. Booking.com, I'm sure most of you use this website, Booking.com. Well, they report 85% decrease. Again, we don't travel, so no news there. But again, the effect is big. We see retail. Well, we used to go to a shop and buy a shirt, no more. Everything that we used to buy, now we buy online. And by the way, we find it to be very easy. Very easy. It doesn't mean that it will be delivered as well. But now we see delivery is starting to become more and more using drones. So now we see a lot of drone solution happening. What will go up? So again, so this was the ones going down. Let's see about the going up. So for sure, bots, whatever now talks to us, a robot, which is physical, and a bot that you see on your computer, they will need to become more personal. They will need to have some empathy. They will need to, in a way, be shown as a person, not as a robot, as a droid, as an avatar. It will be more human, I would say, in a way. I am sure that education, remote education technologies, skyrocket, medical, for sure, telemedicine, to treat people from remote, to scan people for remote, to predict all the predictions about will I be sick, or the application saying Was I near an infected person or not? How do I know? Well, we have apps that know that. Okay, we have watches now that can tell you if you have corona or not. Okay, we have more and more technologies developed by companies that did not even figure that they will now pivot, but they did. We have artificial nose who can sense, not right now, but it can sense if in the room in the last hours was a person that had corona, even that the person is no more there. We now see that we need to detect from a distance a person who has corona. Again, lots of technologies. We now see that we still use the stick, no more. Now we can exhale, okay? And we will know if the person has corona or not. So many technologies around this area are developing. I think virtual reality will have to develop much more right now. It's because when you live in a close quarantine with your family all the time, and this is what you see, sometimes you say, hey, I want to clean my head, I want to go to a new environment. So put your VR, your Oculus Rift or whatever, and go to a new dimension. I think this is relaxing and very much needed. We go from on-prem to the cloud. We go from physical to digital. These are a lot of the changes which are coming. I think the work industry, okay, the employment market is going to change for sure. And my tip about that would be, yes, you are at home, but you need to have yourself a routine. Waking up at 11, not putting makeup and dressing with your shorts is nice, but it cannot hold for long because you need to have a framework. And I'm saying this because, as I mentioned, now we know that we work much harder from home. Probably most businesses will not say, well, after Corona, you come back to office. They will say, listen, after Corona, you will come to office maybe 3 times a week, and the rest, I want you to work from home, which of course will decrease the size of offices. The co-working, we see WeWork and others are suffering. They are shut down left and right because people, well, we need to keep social distancing. So they don't want to come to a one space. So we work from home. When you, again, take all this into consideration, you see the change, okay? I would definitely recommend, if you're at home right now, don't say it's my employer's problem. Keep in touch with your employer. Pick up the phone, see what's going on, see how you can help, stay in touch. It's very, very important. I will say brush off, edit your CV right now. Make sure that your CV is up to date, your LinkedIn is up to date, because you don't know. You don't know if you're going back to work or not. Could change. Maybe you will not be called back. So you need to be ready. This is the time that you need to understand that sitting back will not work for you. Employers look for the proactive people, the ones who engage, the ones that are not sitting with their own self thinking about their problem. Startups. Well, startups, I have some news for you guys. That's that you've been doing this the whole time. You will continue doing it. A survey conducted by Startup Genome, it's a research company, conducted during March and April of this year, during the Corona, revealed some interesting facts. This survey was done interviewing over 1,000 startups in 50 different countries. And, well, no major news here, meaning over 40, maybe now over 50% of startups say that they have maybe 2-3 months to survive in this status right now, because they can raise the money, because they can't sell, they cannot deploy. So this is a very gloomy picture, very gloomy picture about the industry. A lot of fundraising, of course, are stopped, shut down, because the angel investors, the private investors now worry more on their money. They're not reluctant to invest. Corporates, well, they're, as we say, calculating their routes right now, where to go next. Maybe themselves are pivoting right now. So stand on, look for new technology. They want to do something with what they have right now. 10% of startups already shut down. Many are struggling. Over 70% had to lay off, to say to their workers, go home. We cannot pay salaries anymore. And of course, on income, 3 out of 4 startups are reporting there is a huge decrease in income. But the light would be, first of all, telling you that Israeli startups endured, and during the month of Corona, since the beginning of the year, Israeli startups raised near $1 billion. Add to that Moveit, an Israeli app for public transportation, was acquired by Intel for near $1 billion, over $900 million deal. So we're still raising funds, we're still doing exits. And just to relate that, yes, we have gone, the world have gone through crises in the past, but still there were unicorns, there were fundraising. It's not normal, but it's still going on, meaning it relies on the people. As I always say, startups are first of all people, and then there are technology. And startups are the one to invent, and investors are people who invest in startups, and people are the users of what startups develop. So it's all about people. If you understand that this is your time to push ahead, this is your time to raise your head and say, how can I make this work for me? It's difficult, it's hard, and it's near impossible, but others do it. Others do it. Why can I succeed? Of course you can. State of mind. Go ahead, make yourself a plan, get yourself a strategy, and push on. Stay optimistic. Stay optimistic. If you believe it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Think positive, and think positive to extreme. Okay? It will happen. Try new things. Pivot. Invent yourself new. Maybe invent your startup new. Do not stay where you are right now, because things already changed. Go out and learn. Read. Listen. Go YouTube. See people who talk about it. Understand where your industry is. Relate to the industry. Don't go like, okay, how about you invest, or how about you become my customer, without saying and showing empathy. Well, I understand there is a crisis. I understand things are difficult. Maybe I can help in some way. Maybe I can reduce this, do more of this. You understand that people, investors, or your potential customers, they now want to see more. They want to see you invest more. Yourselves, do more, work much harder. Show them more facts. Show them that you can deliver. It's very important. Again, and I say investors and startups, I say employers and workers, same. You need to show, and you need to invest much more now in order to keep yourself out there and have a chance, to reach success. Try new things. Today, deal more with exposure and marketing, more with the marketing. Stay in your customers' eyes. Do not disappear. Do not say, yes, I will start after Corona. You need to have, as we say, small fire ongoing to be able to open, put your foot on the gas, start your engines and run. Reduce expenses. Reduce your expenses. Look on the expenses and take out whatever you can. This is the time to do it. Later, it will be probably too late, and adapt. Adapt yourself to the situation. It cannot work the other way. So this is what I have to share with you until now. And if you have any questions from the audience, Oleg, if you want to ask me something, I would love to answer.
First of all, I'm grateful to this your prominent, as always, speech, and I think the main idea what I personally drew out from your talk is optimism and belief in own forces. I really understand that that who works now harder, those may have in the very near future, in nearest months, much more benefits and much more chances. So our team work hard, and even harder than it used to be before Corona started. So in your tips are very useful for us. Thank you very much.
Okay,
And
super.